Well, hello. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I'm Gabrielle and I'm a French content creator. If you're not new and you are subscribed, thank you so much for staying subscribed to my channel. It's been a while and that's actually why I'm filming this video today. How to say that? It's been a while that I haven't filmed a video for a reason. And first of all, I didn't see myself coming back to filming videos and not address it. But also I found that it was important to talk about what's been happening so that I could be totally honest and transparent with you guys, and probably because it's also something that I will talk about in future videos. But also, I do think that it's very important to talk about mental health and to be completely honest with our journeys with mental health, because it's definitely something that a lot of people are dealing with, and especially right now the world is at it's a situation and we've had to deal with it for so many months now, and I do feel like we're all struggling, and you know, talking about it definitely helps to feel less alone, but also to understand what you're feeling. And I feel like once you know what's happening to you and what you're experiencing, or just that you're not alone and other people are feeling the same way, you are more able to take action on what you can do to improve how you're feeling or what you need to do to feel better. So that was a long introduction. Basically, for the past, I want to say 2 months, nearly 2 months now, I haven't been myself. But for that to be kind of understandable for you, I wanted to talk about my mental health history a bit more. So, mental health. It's something that I've been dealing with for a long time. I would say probably, I want to say 10 years. I'm 26. But it really got worse when I was 20. I have another video with my anxiety and panic attack stories, so I will link it down below, and I recommend you check it out because it explains a bit more, and so that I don't go into too many details on here. But yeah, basically I've been struggling with anxiety for 6 years, and panic attacks, it lasted for really badly, I would say for 4 years. Now I want to say that for the last 2 years I've only had panic attacks like 2 or 3 times a year, which is a great improvement from 2 or 3 times a week or even a day sometimes. But yeah, I'm very used to it in the sense that I know my symptoms, I know my triggers now, which you know, is always a work in progress to understand your mind so that you can prevent or help to cope with situations, which has been very helpful. But the past 2 years have challenged me in a way that I was not expecting, because a big life event, I don't want to say event, but like a big life change happened. I'm not going to go into too many details right now, first of all because even though the situation is much better, it doesn't feel like we're out of the woods for sure. But also, even though I'm very much involved, it's not about me personally. Like it didn't happen to me. It happened to someone very close to me, a family member. I'm just gonna say that. So yeah, it's not really, you know, my story to tell right away. It's something that I need to check with that person and the other people that were very much involved very closely. So I just hope you understand it's not something to release on the internet that easily. I quit my job last year, a year ago. I ended my contract and I decided to not really look for another job after a few weeks of looking for jobs, because nothing seemed interesting to me. They were asking for things that were just impossible for me to get after just 1 year of graduating my master's degree. So I just decided to start my own business. And I was finally working from home. I was finally doing something that I loved and that I was excited about. But I noticed that I kept having these episodes coming up where I was not feeling motivated at all. I was super tired. I didn't want to do anything. I had a hard time connecting with people. I was kind of avoiding social situations, if I'm honest. And yeah, I kept having these patterns of moods and I didn't really understand why. I was like, you're finally working from home, everything is much better. You should be so happy and feeling great and so excited for what's to come, and I just wasn't. I was talking with one of my best friends and we were talking about it, and I was like, I've seen a few videos of Samantha Ravindal on YouTube. She also has a podcast that I love, which is called Approachable with Her Best Friend, and it's one of my favorite podcasts. And basically she had spoken about dealing with depression, and I never really, for some reason, I never really thought about it much more as something that was happening to me. But I was starting to think about it more because I was looking for an episode to listen to, and I found this one again and I listened to it again, and I was like, it sounds like something that I'm experiencing, but I was just like, maybe it's just because of the weather, because the weather was really crap. And so I didn't really think about it that much. But as the pandemic started and we were into lockdown and it was very strict here in France, you basically had to fill out a form stating why you were going outside, and if you were going for a walk, you could not go over a 1 kilometer radius from your house. It was very strict basically, and it was very hard. My anxiety was very bad. Also, the other family situation, I'm just gonna call it that, was not great. I couldn't see my family, which was even worse. I was so stressed because of course it was like a world health situation that was on top of my current situation. Then our dog passed away very, very abruptly at the end of April, and I think it was just too much for me and my family. It was just too much. It was too much to handle at the same time, on top of everything. And then there was another situation on top of a situation. How to say that without actually saying it? But basically the person that was sick had to be hospitalized for a specific reason that was planned before, but of course it wasn't planned that it was going to happen during the pandemic, which meant that we could not visit at all. I think from then until the end of summer, everyone in my family, the other 3 people basically involved, well, 2 apart from the main person, all kind of went into this mental burnout. That's how I call it, that's how I describe it, because it's even harder to describe it other than that. Like, it was just too much mentally for everyone. I think it was on top of other things, of other lingering situations, of other mental health issues that were already known, but it was just too much. And I think I just went into, okay, I'm just going to manage everyone, to try to make everyone as good as possible and to just stay on top of it, and we'll see about me later. It wasn't something that I thought about like that, you know, it was just something I did naturally, because that's just how I kind of cope with things that involve my loved ones. It's just, I naturally just put myself aside and take care of them. And I'm not saying that to be like, oh my god, you're so amazing. Not at all. It's just something that I realized afterwards. So yeah, for like 4 months, it was just about that, about making people as happy as possible, to managing very hard mental health situations. And I spent, like I mentioned before, the summer at my parents' for that specific reason. I knew I was feeling very bad. I was working out every day to help me kind of cope, but I was not thinking as much about it. And then when I came back home to where my boyfriend and I live in September, I think that's when it really hit me. First, I was really tired. I was like, you're just tired because you haven't stopped for the entire summer, which was true. I was starting my business as well as managing that situation, so it was difficult to start with. But then I noticed a few things changing. I was very tearful. I was crying a lot. I was very sad all the time. My anxiety was very high as well. I had zero motivation. I didn't want to do anything. I was interested in doing nothing. Even things that I love doing or that I do for fun or during my leisure time, things that I was watching and loving, I didn't feel anything. Like, I never wanted to do anything. And I didn't feel like I was enjoying myself doing anything. And that was starting to be very hard because, like I said, I just started a business. I had so many things to do. I had zero motivation. I knew my goal. I knew what I wanted to do, which is always very clear, but I could not find a way to do anything to get to that. I had zero energy all the time. I was constantly so tired, but like as tired as like just hanging the laundry felt like an impossible task. And I know what it sounds like, but that was just so true. Every time I had to kind of work myself up for it, and after hanging the laundry, I had to rest because it felt so exhausting and I just wanted to nap right here and then. And it was most likely 11 o'clock in the morning. And it was just like so strange, this real lack of energy. And for the first couple weeks of September, I was able to go back to swimming. But after that, they closed the swimming pools again because we are in a like deep red zone or whatever they call it. So I could not go anymore. And just trying to work out from home was impossible. And even going outside for a walk, if I could manage to go once a week, it was an achievement. Just a real achievement. I was starting to feel like it was just too much, and I didn't understand it. I didn't know what it was that I was experiencing, and I just felt so lost, and I cried all the time and felt so helpless. And I remember what triggered everything after that was that one day. I remember it was a Monday. I had been home all day, didn't go outside even once, and I had tried so hard that day to get anything done, to be somewhat productive, and I didn't manage anything. And again, I know how this sounds like. For anyone who has never dealt with mental health issues, it can feel like you're just not pushing yourself. If you've ever experienced mental health struggles, you will understand what I mean by the fact that it seemed impossible to do anything, and it's just not pushing yourself. It's just like it feels just so exhausting, just so beyond exhausting, which I know sounds strange. And then my boyfriend came home, and we always talk a little bit when he comes home, of course. Even sometimes when in normal times when I'm still working, we just take a few minutes to talk and chat. He was like, so what have you done today? And I just sobbed, and I was like, I didn't do anything. And I just kept crying and crying and crying. And I had mentioned therapy a few times before. I had talked about it with Lori a few times because we were like, yeah, we're dealing with a lot mentally. Me with my anxiety and other things that I wanted to work on, like, patterns of thinking or my self-doubt, my low self-esteem, and a lot. So I knew that I wanted to start therapy, but I didn't feel strong enough before. And I think I also didn't have that changing factor of like, I really need help before that. And then I had mentioned it with my boyfriend a little bit, but I was like, yeah, I don't know right now if I'm ready. And that night he looked me in the eye. I couldn't even see him because I was crying so much. And he was like, maybe it's time you start thinking about going to therapy again. And his phrasing really helped because he was like not pushing me to do it. He was like, maybe it's something that could be helpful and you can start thinking about it. And the next day I was feeling horrible again. And during the summer I had looked at therapists around where I live so that I could go and just walk there. And I had found that therapist that I liked her website, like how she described how she was working. And the next day I just decided to book an appointment with her at that Friday, because I felt like I need some help and it could get even worse right now if I don't do anything about it. So that was my start of my therapy journey. I had been to therapists twice before. The first time was when I was 20, when my anxiety and my panic attack started to be just horrible. It was just absolutely horrible, and I knew that I needed to understand what was happening to me, but also I needed coping mechanisms to start working on it. The second time was 2 years later when I came back from studying abroad. My anxiety was again really, really bad. I had a lot of nighttime anxiety. I think it's like nocturnal anxiety. I was basically not sleeping and anxious for the entire day, every time. And so I started therapy again, which helped, and it's something that it's basically they're giving you tools to approach how you're feeling and how you're thinking. You talk it out with them and they help you really to point out a few things that you haven't noticed, or maybe your triggers or your thought pattern, and they help you to work on it. So it had helped me to manage my anxiety, and for since I've been, I think I would say 24, I've been managing way better, and that's also thanks to therapy. But then I had to stop every time because I was moving. And so this time around, I knew that it was something that I wanted to do for a longer period of time. So I think I've been to, I want to say 4 sessions now. First I wanted to do every other week, but then we realized that I needed to see her every week. I can tell that it's helping, but I can also tell that I'm gonna need to work on myself a lot more than I was before, because we've identified a lot of things that make me anxious, that make me even more tired. After my first session with my therapist, where I told her I had realized that it might be depression, we talked about it a lot, and she was like, you know what you need to do? You need to rest for real, as in not try to get anything done if you know you won't be able to, because just starting to do something and realizing that you cannot doing is even harder on you. She was like, you just need to rest. You absolutely need to rest. The past 2 years have been very hard on you, but the last month have been even worse, with everything going on, taking a toll, and a lot of things happening. And so that's what I decided to do. But also I've been managing to get into another routine that helps me and to take care of myself more. I've been able to think more about the things that I need to do for myself and how to manage when I'm feeling low better. I'm still working on it. It's still, a few things are still hard for me to do. Like, for example, when I feel like I'm doing nothing, I feel like I'm never going to be able to achieve anything in my life. I won't be successful in what I want to do. I will never get where I want to go because I'm not doing anything. I feel super, super guilty for not doing anything. Maybe your situation doesn't allow you to take time off, and for that I feel so guilty. And we've been working on that with my therapist as well, just acknowledging that I'm super lucky and just accepting it. And yeah, I'm a very empathetic person, and so it's very hard for me to think about people who have gone through this situation and have not been able to take time off and have had to keep going. just gonna stop here because I'm gonna start crying. And my camera had no more storage. So hopefully this looks pretty much the same. Also, I've noticed that I hadn't wiped the mascara off my eyelids. So I don't really know how to end this video. I hope it was somehow helpful or reassuring for you to know that you're not alone, or maybe to know what to do moving forward, or how to help people that you think are dealing with this. I would say if you know someone who is maybe dealing with depression, be very kind to them. Don't be judgmental. Just accept how they're feeling and tell them that you are accepting however they decide to act upon it. It's really helpful. Help them as much as you can by being understanding, by being helpful in their daily life, cooking for them, cleaning for them, just sending a message saying, I don't expect you to answer, but I just want you to know that I'm here for you. If you need help, if you need someone to talk to, do let me know what I can do to help. Yeah, hopefully this was helpful for you guys. I know it wasn't really easy for me to film. I've been waiting to film this video for the past week, but it was very hard for me to do. You know, talking about it on the internet, I know that it's going to probably, hopefully help some people, but also it's hard to be vulnerable in that way. There will be a vlog coming out after this one, so do subscribe, and hopefully you'll enjoy this one. It's kind of how I'm getting back into work mode following this, and also like what I've been watching during my resting time. Hopefully this was helpful. I'm sorry it's probably a very long video, but it was hard for me to keep it short and sweet without missing a few things that I thought were very important to mention. So yeah, thank you for watching, and take care of yourself, be kind to yourself, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next one too. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Bye guys.